Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of the Flip the Mindset podcast. I know the world is upside down just now, but I hope my podcast will bring some hope, some well-needed motivation and inspiration to those who need it. I want to introduce our first long-term sponsor. Silver Lining Debt Relief help people break free from debt. Silver Lining are specialists in government-backed debt solutions that can vastly reduce monthly payments, freeze interest and write off unaffordable debt. Debt is not only defaults and letters. It is also a lot of your income going out to pay creditors, stress, worry and missing out on making memories with your family. By facing debt rather than avoiding it, you will have less to worry about, security, more money each month, and a better financial future free from the misery of debt. We are here to help people find a manageable, legally binding solution to get out of debt. You can check out our debt calculator on our website to quickly discover if you qualify for help at www.sldr.uk. Alternatively, you can email SLDR at info@sldr.uk, or you can call them on 0141 473 5200. It's not a weakness accessing help. Take the right steps to manage your debt. Now, on to the podcast, and I'm absolutely delighted to welcome the Stoltman Brothers. Hello guys, welcome to another episode of the Flip the Mindset podcast. This is a special episode today. I have managed to get two of the Avengers on, Hulk and Thanos. It feels like that, and I feel like the Ant-Man. No, we've got the albatross and the oak.
Yes, indeed.
It's not just the oak, it's the
Highland oak.
The Highland oak.
Yeah.
So the albatross and the oak, I love it. The Stoltmans, Tom and Luke Stoltman. I'm very proud to have these guys on. They're the pride of our country at the moment, and I'm sure they will be in years to come. So what have you been up to, lads?
Just eating over Christmas time quite a lot, as you can imagine. We're in quite a fortunate position back up the road where we own our own gym.
Yep.
So it's closed to the public, but because Tom and I were under that category as elite athletes, we can still train. So we're in quite a privileged spot, you know. We can train, we can eat, we can basically do all the things that we want. Really.
Do what we want, you know. Takeaways are open, so that's the main thing. Takeaways, gym, and get some. We get to enjoy the kind of scenery and the nature now up in the Highlands. You know, we've been doing the hot and cold stuff and just going out to seas, going out to the beaches, and you know, doing something that's so easy and so free, and you know, get to enjoy the views. It's unbelievable, and we get to do it together. We've got a group of us that do it every morning, and that's what I've been doing for the last 2-3 weeks. That and the gym, and what a buzz I get off it. So it's unbelievable.
I love it. I was actually thinking, because I'm from Argyll. Don't know if you used to know that yet. So I'm from Argyll, and you are from the Highlands. So similar places.
Indeed,
And I was missing the scenery, and I thought to myself, I was talking to the missus the other night saying, I wish we'd maybe moved down there at the start of lockdown, just for the quiet. Well, it is quietness up here, but just because it wouldn't have felt so different from what goes on, you know, because it's not as busy, and it's not. That's all not taken away down there. You can go down there, you can relax, go up the hills, go to the beach, do the hot and cold stuff, go jogs, and you can lose yourself in the Highlands or the Argylls. And I think that's something I've been really missing, and thinking I want to get back home for a wee bit.
Man,
I don't say that often because I'm so busy all the time, you know. But now I'm just like, I wish I was back in Argyll. So country boys, country mountains.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
I love it. Eating. So over lockdown it was good over the summer. How's the weather been recently in sunny Alness?
It's been pretty chilly. Last week was pretty snowy. We, as Tom says, we did a lot of kind of cold water swimming, loch swimming. So obviously the colder the better for us. Really, it was down to I don't know what it was, -6, whatever, when we were doing an ice swim the other day. So that was pretty epic. We're fortunate enough that the drive down here was quite good, kind of thawed out a little bit. But yeah, up in Aviemore, the Cairn Gorms, that's where we do a lot of the swims. Well, I say swims, it's more like sitting in the
wind. There's no actually energy expected.
Dip, scream and come out, that's what we do.
I think we're too dense to swim. We're not the
not the swimming type.
No, not so much.
What we say, neither am I. So has that impacted your training, the weather up there?
In a sense, because when we've got outside training to do with the yokes, farmers, sandbag runs, obviously when the weather's kind of below zero, that's when the ice and stuff comes in. Yeah. So
you can't lift Atlas stones that are covered in ice, can you?
Not so much. Well, Tom probably could, to be honest.
Like, not that good. I think even the shorter nights as well is a struggle. You know, you're going into the gym at like 3 p.m. and it's nearly dark, so outside training is quite hard in the dark and obviously in the ice. So, but we make do with it. You know, we kind of world class athletes. We have to do what's kind of on our doorstep, and if that means take stuff inside, we'll take it inside. Yeah. But training is quite hard up in the middle of nowhere when it's pitch black.
I can imagine. And it's a lot of people struggle from seasonal affective disorder. You know what I mean? So when the seasons are changing and it's getting dark early, does that impact motivation at all? Does that, like, you're going into the gym at 3 p.m. and it's dark? Yeah, that could be soul destroying.
For me, 100%. Like, even since I've been back from Worlds, I only just got back into a routine about like the start of January, you know, because the nights have just been coming in so quick, and I hate it, man. It feels depressed, you know. You're waking up and it's night, and it feels like you're trapped in a house all day. Then it's by the time you go to the gym, it's pitch black again. So, but for me, it's a hard thing to get motivated for. You know, I love the summer where you're up at 6 a.m. It's bright, you can train any time of the day, and it's you can enjoy it as well. But just now, it's hard to get back to it, but I'll get back to it eventually. So I need to anyway, because I've got a title to win, you know.
Exactly. Many titles to win. It's interesting that, because for us it's difficult because I'm not working in it. I'm in my house all day. I only get out for a walk and then I'm back in the house and it's depressing enough. But imagine being a world-class athlete and having to keep in shape and having to work to such high standard during what is a very difficult time. Put the weather on that, put the darkness on that. That could be very detrimental. That could probably ruin next year's work for some bodybuilders, for some strongmen.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that's where the support network comes into play. You know, for us, we've got a great family, so you get to do it with my brother, one of my best mates as well. So we've got that supportive network, which is really nice. I think if it was just Tom or myself doing it alone, that's when the bad times get set in. But Tom pushes me, then I push Tom. We've got our family, our wives. We've both got a couple of dogs that keep us going as well. You know, so it's a lot of negatives. You know, but I'm personally, for me, glass is always half full rather than half empty. Try and utilise what we've got. We are very blessed to be from the Highlands, as Tom said, with the scenery and getting up for sunrise every morning. We've done that the last 26 days. Experience the sunrise, getting the rays from the sun when it peaks over the hills and you're in the sea and just swimming with your friends and enjoying that moment of the day, and that sets you up for the rest of the day. And it's honestly, we'll talk about it probably a bit more.
Probably the biggest positive right now, because if the world was normal, you wouldn't see that. You know, I'd be in bed till 8, 9 o'clock, and to actually see that every day, you're like, wow, this is our country, you know. So it's like a nice feeling,
don't you?
For sure,
big time.
Man, definitely.
That's what I mean. I was looking at pictures of my hometown or Dunoon and Argyll, and I was like, I miss you, man. You know what I mean? You really appreciate it more.
For sure, definitely.
But even Glasgow, when I'm out walks, I'm thinking it's quite nice. You know, I'm looking onto the Campsies. Do you know where the Campsies are? So near Lennoxtown. So I'm in Bishop Bryce, and from there you've got a great view of the Campsies.
Oh, nice.
And it reminded me a bit like home. So I've always said, when you're speaking about family, I've always said you're the average of the 5 most important people around you. How important is your circle to you, and what do the people in your circle mean to you?
I mean, for me, family, I'm the oldest of 5 siblings, so
It's 5 of you.
5 of us. So our brother Harry, the youngest one.
We've got another brother.
That's an army.
There's a big squad of Stoltmans up in the Highlands. So yeah, for me personally, family's everything. You know, you need to. I'm very protective over Tom and the rest of my family, and you know, I would die for them. That's basically how I am as a person. And having that circle, as you put it, that trust. You know, you need to have the more. You know yourself, the higher your profile gets, you need to have that trust to be able to trust people. And I think, rightly or wrongly, I like to think that family, you can always trust your family, for me personally. So I know I've got dad, 2 sisters and 2 brothers. Tom's second strongest man in the world. You know, he's got my back no matter what.
It's not a bad person to have your back, is it?
Yeah, I think having that supportive network and our wives and stuff, you need to have that. Being married to someone when you're in the limelight quite a lot is quite difficult, and it's quite there's a few negative kind of tendencies that come. You know, you get the wrong type of attention, and that kind of causes a bit of kind of animosity sometimes. But being able to have that person that you can go back to and just keep your feet on the ground, you know, that's what Cushy, my wife, and I think Sinead does for Tom as well. 100%. So you need that person just to go back to and just chill with. You know, that's kind of. Again, that partner we were chatting a bit before, you know, the pandemic that we're going through, the lockdown, I think that's brought up a lot of issues with people, you know, fighting with the wife and stuff like that, and maybe you're not supposed to be with that person. But I think this is such an important time where you have that person that you can rely on to get you through these tough times. Yeah. And certainly for me, that's what I, you know, use my wife for, and my family and Tom. And yeah, it's paramount for
yeah,
us.
100% family for me is great. I'm a massive family man. Obviously, with autism and stuff as well, you know, I've had to have them from a young age. They've been my rock, you know, since day one. And then obviously meeting Sinead, meeting my wife, again, she's unbelievable. Like, you know, with Strongman, you're always in the limelight and you're always kind of in people's attention and stuff. And sometimes you just want to back away from that and have someone you can talk to and understand. Like, me and Luke are more than just strong men, we're actual like human beings, and that's why a lot of people want to be your friend and stuff, because you've got that like celebrity tag. So it's nice just to go home and, you know, spend time with the family and the people you love, and sit, like, they talk to you normally. So that it's away from the kind of strongman sport. Sinead's an unbelievable person to have in your life. Even doing the strongman, she cooks my food, ties my laces, makes sure no energy. Make sure I'd have no energy used at all. So she's unbelievable as well. She helps look out. So because she's good, they're both good, you know. But
I think Tom's more tendent for a takeaway now and again, so more than I am.
No one needs to know that.
That's what I was quite on to. See, when I was 23 stone, I was 23 stone, and I came back for the gym, and it's just like your laces undone, and I bent down to get it, man. And I'm telling you, I was struggling.
That's why she has to do it to me.
And she tied my shoes.
That's love right there, isn't it?
That was a bit when you kind of lose a bit of. You've lost a bit of dignity there as a bodybuilder.
It can get worse as well. The bigger you get, I mean, toilet times are something to struggle. Yeah,
I think I've broken 5 or 6 toilet seats since I've been in my house as well. So
one of them at our house as well.
Do you break the whole seat? Because I tell you, Steph's going to comment on this YouTube video straight away, right? 2-3 months ago. I don't know if producer was in the house when she told you. I snapped the toilet seat, not the whole toilet, just the seat. I snapped it, and she went off.
Yeah, it's just a seat from
you.
She
hates that kind of stuff. She went crazy.
This one I've got super glued down, so it's not broken touch food yet. Like.
You've broken one in the gym as well. You said it wasn't you, but the whole cyst, or whatever you call it, the bit that goes into the ground. It was broken. I was offshore at the time, and I got a phone call saying the toilet's broken. I'm like, what do you mean?
They pointed their fingers at me straight away, didn't they? So.
Was you in it, man? It was definitely
probably
you.
was me. I'm not taking the blame for that one.
You just don't, because Tom's so tall, being 6'8", Tom just thinks
probably didn't hear it.
I just slam myself on because it's so low down, you know.
He doesn't like gradually lower himself down. 6'8" and about 28 stone.
When you're bursting, you don't have that mind to
just gradually kind of lower yourself on. That's what you need to work on. That should be your New Year's resolution this year. Stop breaking toilets.
Speaking about being so big, To get big, you need to eat a lot of food. You need to train hard. Let's talk about the food.
Yeah.
Now, from Max, so I can relate with my experience with bodybuilding when I was at my best and I was big. I was eating around 8,000 calories a day, 9,000 a day at some points. Whether it was the right food,
Yeah.
a couple of Dominoes in there a week, no, it doesn't. We'll forget about that. But you do anything to get big, don't
Yes,
you? And
of
you
course,
put the work in. But it gave me, I'm suffering from bad IBS from that now. My system is totally,
All right.
you know,
Jeez.
the poop shoot is fucking. It's and it's an embarrassing thing that many people in bodybuilding and that don't talk about. I'm wondering, talk to me about the food intake and how you manage it, because it's hard. I was sitting in my bed 11 at night sometimes 2 in the morning, munching cottage cheese, you know what I mean, peanut butter. You know, it's brutal.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? It's for me the hardest part is you just walk around bloated all the time, and then you're bloated because you're eating so much, you're all hot and sweaty all the time, and that's a hard thing. You know, you're going shopping with the wife, whatever, and you're sitting there bloated and sweating and bloody Zara, whatever it is, she's wanting to go shopping, and like that's what kind of stresses me out a little bit. You know, when you're in that shop and that environment and that, and you're like, I'm sweating because I've just eaten, and I'm like, oh geez, people are looking at me and laughing, and that's tough. So it kind of went off in the question, but food wise, yeah, we're pretty much kind of 8 to 10,000 calories. So at the moment, it's probably 8,000 calories, kind of building up.
Yeah.
Tom's on a little bit more because he's naturally bigger than me anyway. But yeah, for breakfast, it's usually 10 fried eggs, a bowl of cereal, a bowl of porridge.
Yeah, just now, cereal, 2 sausages, 2 bacons, 10 eggs, nice and easy.
Look at that smile talking about the food, Tom.
I love it. It's one of my favourite meals of the day.
That's a better smile than when you came second in the Worlds, man. Someone just should have came and handed you you know what I mean, a triple burger, man. You'd have been, yes.
The happiest you'll ever be.
Yeah, that's it. And then we usually have like a mid-morning snack, which is like a protein shake and fruit or something. And then lunch again is just maybe chicken, steaks. I have about 340 grams, 350 grams of meat, and then a carb source, so it can be a potato, rice, whatever really. And then it's a meal before the gym, so we use kind of carbs to fuel our gym sessions. So like, for example, if I'm training at 5, I'll have maybe a burger, chips, pizza, whatever I kind of want, about 3, and that'll kind of fill me out and get that bloat, and that'll fuel me for the kind of whole gym session. And after the gym, it's back to kind of the clean eating again. So we do eat kind of, I mean, before Worlds, I was in the hotel room eating Five Guys every night, you know, but like you said, you need to eat to kind of put on weight, that kind of food, and the strength as well. And that's what we use that food for, is for the strength, you know. I mean, you kind of see other people that when they kind of eat a bit cleaner during the before the gym, they'll fatigue early.
Oh, of course.
And that's what I found at Worlds. When I kind of eat this like Five Guys cheesecakes every night, I was like, wow, this is good. I'm getting
Beast
fat, but like, but every kind of day out there, I was getting stronger and stronger just because of right food I was eating, you know. And I think that's what people kind of in Strongman don't do, is because they want that good body and stuff. We're not in it for the body, we're in it for strength gains and kind of, you know, getting big. And you can't eat burgers, you can't eat cheesecake just at the right times and stuff. So yeah, but I love all that kind of stuff.
It's more like with the bodybuilding and stuff, it's more for your physique, so you have to have those muscles popping. But with the strength aspect, our diets are more performance based. So when Tom talks about the kind of carbohydrates, the fast acting carbs before we train, you know, we need them to be a mix of both, kind of fast acting, slow acting, just to keep us going through that kind of 3-4 hour session we might have.
Yeah. And
then the same in Worlds. I remember in Worlds, I think it was the final. Tom had just qualified for the final. He came down in his wee Rangers top, must have been about a 4XL, a skin tight thing, and his belly was out like that.
That was the biggest I've ever been on. Probably the fattest I've been. Like,
it was like that. We're all talking. You see the size of Tom?
Society hole.
He was just going down to get your cheesecake. I think it was like 4 pieces of cheesecake. You had the big headphones on. You're listening to Taylor Swift, and it was
just nice and easy, nice and relaxed, chilled. It was good, man.
That was the biggest I've seen him look like. I was like, Jesus, that's a big boy. Like,
Brilliant, man. No, it's funny you talk about that, because when I was bodybuilding, and there was a point I was going to go into competitions, and people used to laugh at me because I would do the same. I would have a big soggy cheat meal. I would have it the night before I done legs or back, and before I went to the gym, about an hour and a half before, I would have something like maybe 5 squares bars, or just something yummy, or oats, peanut butter, or a burger, or anything. And that made me feel good. And that kind of has made me realise now, when I look back, when I reflect on it, you don't at the time, that I was maybe I was maybe just not the man for bodybuilding. I loved, we were talking before, I loved it for therapy. And I love pushing heavy weights, not your heavy weights, but heavy-ish weights. And that's what I love doing, the therapy, the pushing the weights, not worrying too much about form. And I'm a personal trainer, so when I was seen to be doing this, people are like, oh, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? I said, it makes me feel better when I train. Yes, it's not written in the book. Yes, I should be eating chicken and rice all day to be ripped as I can to go and pose. But that's just not for me. For sure. You know, I think you talk about that, Tom. You were going to go down that route, and then it wasn't for you. I did the posing and that. It made me, my anxiety's bad enough. It just made me uncomfortable. I like shifting weights, and then after that, I just feel like I'm free for the whole day. You know, my head is clear. But that's just me. What I want to start talking about is the World Championships, the World's Strongest Man. What's it like?
It's quite surreal for me, you know. Growing up, I was always watching World's Strongest Man, and you know, I used to love it watching TV. And to think now, you know, Tom and I are competing. I think that was my 4th or 5th year competing at Worlds. And it's weird. You get treated like you're something. You know, when you get off the plane, you get picked up and ushered in with all these other guys that we look up to still as athletes, and you feel like, Jesus, this is like big time, you know, we're at World's Strongest Man. You got to pinch yourself sometimes. And then this year, for me, seeing Tom do so well, it was just, it still doesn't feel quite real how well he did.
It's just because I don't have my trophy yet. It's still stuck in Stansted. So.
Nightmare. Have they not released it yet?
No, I don't know
there might be something dodgy in the trophy, I think. I don't know. I know in Tom.
No, it must be weird though, because you've came for the top end of Scotland.
Yeah.
You know, quiet boys. Maybe not quiet in illness, but quiet boys. And then you've been kind of shoved into this limelight, treated like superstars. Yeah. Travelling all over. Where have you travelled with World's Strongest Man?
Asia.
Dubai.
Yeah, well, Philippines, Botswana a couple of times, America, Australia, Dubai, all around Europe. It's everywhere. It's incredible to think. Like you say, we're just like where we're from. All Inveresk Garden is like 10,000 people there tops, and we're competing in front of like 12,000 people arenas. You know, and there's more people watching us than there is where we're from, and that's mad for me to like. Seriously, look, I love it. Like I love playing up to the crowd, and I get a buzz from it. You know, I'm ripping my shirt off, and like I don't know, just something animalistic kind of comes from me when I'm competing in front of a crowd, and I really get a buzz from it. I think you're maybe not. You still get a buzz.
No, I get it a bit now, more now, but at the start, obviously, I wasn't as much. But yeah, you need the crowd, like you said, because it's like with football, any sport, it gives you that extra 10% to push. You know, if you're kind of got one rep left in you and there's no crowd there, you kind of just give up easier than you would if there was someone shouting your name or, you know, swearing at you to get more lifts and stuff. So, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but see when you struggled with the crowds at first, did it give you the extra 5 and 10% then?
I mean, ever since kind of when I started Strongman, obviously, like, I didn't know I was going to get as good as I did. You know, obviously I had loot and stuff, but I thought I was just going to do it as a kind of national level, you know, maybe Scottish and stuff. And obviously my autism was still kind of, I was suffering it quite a bit bad then, you know. And going into the gym, I'd only say 1 or 2 words to people. I would lift weights, head down, and that's it. No conversation from me. And then when I started getting better at Strongman, I was like, oh crap, there's cameras, TVs, lights, people. And I was like, right, I didn't sign up for this kind of stuff. So
get me out of here.
So that was my kind of first intentions, you know, like even at Scotland's Strongest Man in Dumfries, Glasgow, whatever it was, there was still like 500-600 people there, and I was like, I'm used to maybe 8-9 people around me. Even in school, I was just in a small group, so I was like, whoa, this is like, I was physically strong, but mentally, and my mental strength was nowhere near up to the standard of my physical. So Luke took the lead in kind of most of the interviews we'd done. He would kind of talk for me, like, because they kind of knew if I just had my head down sitting like this, they were like, what's wrong with Tom? But they kind of knew by then. And then I don't really know what it was. I kind of did my first big comps at Giants Live, and again the lights and people didn't help me at all. I was like, I don't want to be out, I don't want to be here. And then there was one comp I came last in at Giants Live, and I was getting really overwhelmed with the people there as well. And then I realised, right, I need to step back from the sport for a few months, get my mental state sorted, and come back kind of fighting. And I just did that. And then I kind of said, I chose to do the sport, so if I want to be good at it, I need to kind of step up to the interviews. I'm going to be in the limelight, so I need to kind of do everything myself and not use Luke to help me, because I'm competing by myself, so how can I talk and do the kind of uncomfortable stuff? So I put myself in the uncomfortable positions, and I kind of just grew after every interview. And now I can actually talk in front of you, like this, YouTube. Can't shut up sometimes, but it's a nice feeling, because obviously all that helped me, but then I've kind of gone with myself and wanted to kind of change for the better, and it's helped me as a person overall, not just in Strongman but in life as well. So it's a great feeling to kind of overcome obstacles that got put in my way. So
I think all of Scotland are proud of you for that, mate, to be honest. I mean I grew up, Man.It Shona had her son called Chasm. He had autism, so I've been around it all my life. We used to go there twice a week, and I would sit and he played PlayStation constantly. I mean, you wouldn't get him off it. And if you him giving me the remote to play when it kind of interrupted what he was doing, oh wow. But it would change his mood, and then he would come back round again. But it's like the change of focus in autism. I've done a wee bit of looking up on it with autism's the autistic spectrum, and it's so complex. I mean, when you talk about that there, so you've kind of been raging at yourself, you've chucked the till in, you've probably a big bit of confusion in there, you've got social anxiety when you're competing, and it's not your fault at all. And when you've kind of just went, stuff this is not the sport for me, and walked away from it, what I want to know is, I don't think you've been asked yet, how did you, that's a dark place. Would you say, you know what I mean? How, and Flip the Mindset podcast is about getting back from the darkest of places. You're now going for the world's strongest man, Tom. Like, that is sensational. How did you recover from that?
Obviously, that was a bad time, because obviously down there, I knew I could beat the guys, in my head before that come, I knew I could beat them, but obviously mentally, like I said, just the crowd, everything was just overwhelming. So I came back home and just kind of, obviously the family I've got is unbelievable, Luke, and I had my wife then as well. So I kind of just took a step away from the sport, trained for a bit, and was like, I just kind of started having fun in the gym, started having fun in the gym, and thought, I can't put pressure on myself. I can't say I'm going to be this, say I'm going to be that, and just started going to the gym with Luke again and having fun. And I think having fun switched that switch in my head, and was like, right, this is why I'm doing this sport, for no other reason than to have fun and, travel the world. And I think when I said that kind of word, have fun, ever since that competition, I've gone into comps, no matter how high the standard is, kind of how big the comp is, and have fun. And that's, I think, helped my mind just, he's only here to have fun, and no pressure on me at all. And it's changed big time since then. And like you said, I've had a few good results over the years now, and that's just because I said that one word 100%, and that's changed it big time.
That's amazing. You've totally flipped your mindset
on
that, and it's tough at the best of times, but even more so when you're dealing with autism and stuff like that. I can relate to the social anxiety. As you know, I've got severe anxiety. It cripples me. And when I played football, especially when I was at Annan, as we were talking before, I had to come off the pitch because the crowd were just, the dark hole was just eating me alive. I couldn't breathe. I was choking up. I was feeling so within myself, and it ruined a lot of my stuff. So the ball would come to me, someone would pass the ball to me, and as that ball's rolling to me, I slow motion. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to control that ball. Oh no, people are going to laugh at me. Oh no, that ball's going to thing. And then the ball would bounce off me because I'm dazing. And then I would react.
Yeah.
Slowed my reacting down. And I would look like a fool. And then fans in football, or you know, they're the worst fans in the world. You know what I mean? They don't like you. You're a big Rangers man. You know your eyebrows. You know what the fans are like. Your eyebrows. And fans when I was playing would go, "Oh, you a donkey," and this and that, not knowing what I was going through. You know, I was just lost my brother. I was going through mad stuff, and it really had a big effect. I didn't want to go to training sometimes because the ball was just hitting off me and that, and it really hurt. It hurt big time. So for you to go through all that on a world stage, like the global, like the superstar stage, is just absolutely phenomenal. I envy you for coming through that, Tom, and I think it's fantastic for anyone with autism watching this podcast now are going to be automatically lifted. I think with autism, before we move on, I'll touch on two things. A lot of people mail me, Flip the Mindset. That's what I do. They mail me and I help them through hard times. And there was a boy with autism that mailed me and he was talking about not being able to be himself. So he says, when I'm myself, people treat me different and look at me like I'm different, right? He says, I can't have a conversation with someone for 10 minutes or for 80 minutes and that's not my fault. He says, but now I've learned, he says, if I do have a 10-minute conversation with them, they think I'm fine. And they treat me and accept me. He goes, why can't they accept me for who I am, that I don't want to talk? Do you get that? I don't know if I've put that across well.
Yeah, for sure.
And he says, why can't I be accepted, Kenny? And I was trying to say, it's hard because a lot of people who have anxiety or autism and stuff like that, to come out their shell at the start is very uncomfortable. It's like being comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's not somewhere they want to be. It's horrible, you know, and it's not being who they are. Do you get that? It's not them who they are. You know, it's not, and that's a very, you can think about it, that is a really lonely and horrible and tough place to be. Someone has to basically act like someone else or be fake to be accepted. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And did you feel the difference from before and then when you started kind of the way people would kind of treat you and stuff, and then when you started coming out and kind of expressing or accepting or whatever way to put it, did you feel that people treated you different then? Yeah,
especially in the kind of senior schools and stuff. In primary it was all right because it was just a wee group of us, you know, and I was kind of a kid then, so it was kind of normal. But I had it when I went into the secondary school, I had it for a while and I had like support teachers in with me. I just still like, you know, couldn't do talks and stuff, and hiding that, because for me was thought was normal, but hiding that and people asking questions of like, why are you not in school, why are you not doing this, was hard. But I was just not in that kind of mental state to tell people. And then it got too much where I just went and said to one of my support teachers, I want to tell my mates, and as soon as I told them, the pressure off my shoulders and they accepted me for who I was, and it was unbelievable, man. Even like I've known my mates since I've been 11, 10, and they even still check out on me to now, even though they're across the other side of the world and stuff. So
amazing. As
soon as, I mean, it's like anyone with mental health and everyone, as soon as, I know it's like hard to kind of push at first, but as soon as you say that, tell them like, oh, I'm struggling with it, autism, that's when the relief just goes and you feel unbelievable. Like, so it's like a big clouds lifted off your shoulders. So yeah, it was the best feeling of my life doing that in front of like all my mates and stuff, and get accepted for who I was, not just being that fake person. Like, so it was really good.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
it's absolutely amazing. It's and that the reason why I just said that is just in case anyone's watching or like, it's like I can't go and chase my dreams because people won't accept me as who I am and stuff like that. What advice would you give to people that are going through that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, just, you know, be yourself, and if you are getting the hard time of other people's, for me, I kind of just blocked them. You know, I had my group of friends that you should always kind of tell your loved ones and your friends that what you're going through, and if there's people that don't accept you for who you are, just block them out. You know, there's still people that will like message me things and stuff, but you just block them out. But I mean, like, it's hard, but you kind of, for me to get through it and the way I got through it.
Did you, sorry to interrupt, you say people will message you stuff about
not
slagging you about autism?
No, not really too much just now, but at the start and stuff, and you always get those trolls and all that. Everyone has it, and
it's a big problem.
Yeah, but that can cause people with autism to react in worse ways than what I can now. So it's just ignoring them and kind of doing the things you love and keep doing them. That's what, when I had autism and it was at the hardest, sorry, I'd still do it, but when it was at the hardest, football was my life. And if I was around my friends and football, I could act normal. So I think doing that kind of stuff, being around your friends and doing the stuff that you think is normal to you, you should do that until you're comfortable then to go and to the next stage and tell people, or try and get into an uncomfortable position when you think things are getting harder. But football and Strongman's changed my life 100%. So
amazing. I mean, there's this notion that autism looks a certain way, isn't there? And it really annoys me, especially same with anxiety and mental health and all that. It looks a certain way, right? When I think Tom shows that that's really not the case, and there's many people with autism that don't tell people because of that. You know, I was reading up before this podcast on autism, of course, trying to get my bearings on it, and there was a story of someone who had come out and said he's autism, and literally his best friends have went, or his friends or whoever's there have went, "You're not autistic." Do you know what I mean? And that must happen to a lot of people. You're not autistic. What are you talking about? As if it's like certain ways, as if anxiety or pre-suicide or something like that is to look a certain way. It doesn't. It really doesn't. There's a large spectrum. Do you know what I mean? And it's many of us can be autistic and not even know. Definitely. And I think that's something to open up. It's a very touchy subject, or not, but I'm open with, and flip the mindset, I'm open with talking about everything, God, I've been through some really embarrassing times and all that, and some mental times, and I'm always open about it because I think it's important. Definitely. Because some people might not like it, but I think talking about it is so very important. Tom is the second strongest man in the world. In my book, the strongest. The Huckley press, if that was just a wee bit more,
I'll get that.
You would be the best. And you're going to be, both, any of you can be actually. But no, it was good. It was good to kind of talk about it. I think it's important to talk about. We're not going to spend too long on it. I'm sure you talk about it all the time, same as I talk about mental health all the time, and it can get a wee bit of. So, we'll move on. What I want to talk about is, look, you actually really surprised me. I was actually in awe with the fact that you're, for years in Strongman, you've been top 10. How many years have you been in top 10? Or the top level? Yeah,
probably the last few years now.
And how the hell have you done it holding down a full-time job? I did 13, 14 hours a day. That's mad to me.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough, but I mean, I think we can look at how our body adapts to certain environments you put it in. So I've not known anything other than working offshore since I was 18 and working those 14, 15 hours a day, still training. And it is what it is. I had to do that. That was my career. And unfortunately, Strongman at the start, when I was doing it, was just a hobby. But I was actually in the Philippines at World's Strongest Man, just missed out in the final that year. And it was Colin Bryce, the owner of Giants Live, said to me, he says, look, you've got something, there's something there, but at the moment, he says, it's part-time training equals part-time results, full-time training, full-time results. And absolutely. That, excuse the pun, flipped my mindset. When he said that, I was like, that just clicked with me. That made so much sense. So I thought, right, I need to put things in place. Offshore, I was a survey engineer, so I was more in the engineering department. And that's not something that I could see me doing until I was 60, 65. It gave me the tools financially that I could do to set up a gym for Tom and I, buying in all the equipment. I was very fortunate that it gave me that to do. But when I looked at myself in the mirror, I thought, this isn't the role for me. This isn't the position. I'm more than that. I'm more than just some guy working an oil rig. And thankfully, it was more just that kind of bit between your teeth, you know, when you get that kind of want to prove yourself that I can beat these guys that were training full time. When I was competing in Botswana for World's Strongest Man, I just done 3 weeks offshore. The bad weather came in, so I missed my chopper flight back home. So I was supposed to go home, see the wife, give her a kiss goodbye, and fly out the next day to Botswana. That cancelled, so I had to fly directly from the oil rig straight to Botswana. So I've turned up in the competition wearing my offshore kind of gear and that, you know, and like all these lads have had 3 months of like quality training. I'm stuck in an oil rig in the North Sea, wherever it was. So it's just, I think that's what drives us, you know. It's when you're going through, I won't say it's a difficult situation, because it was my choice to be there. You know, I could have really changed that a few years ago. Last January, I did my last job in the oil and gas sector. Tom and I, thankfully, you know, we've managed to run merchandise. We do YouTube. We've got a gym. Yeah. You know, it's much like yourself. You keep busy and you try and kind of that different avenues of income. You know, you need that. And when I finished working offshore, I says, right, I spoke to my wife. Said, look, that's it. I'm done. That mental switch just really changed, and I thought, right, that's something. This is where things start now. You know, we've got to take things seriously. We've got to. I talk about it a lot. It's like creating that legacy. Like we are strongmen, but we're more than that. We want to help people. You know, if I was on my deathbed and I didn't affect someone positively in my life, you know, I've done myself an injustice, my family an injustice. So we are big advocates for mental health, Tom's autism awareness. You know, we're working now with charities to try and push that and say it's okay. You know, we've gone through, Mum passed away a few years ago, and before that I couldn't talk about things. I couldn't talk about my emotions. I was very locked up, very almost angry sometimes, you know, but losing someone like that kind of gives you that opportunity to be able to talk about stuff and kind of try and help other people. And since then, you know, we've really tried to show it's okay. I know it's just saying it's okay not to be okay, but it really is. You know, it's not a weakness. You know, talking about our issues. You know, you have to be really okay with yourself to be able to admit you're not okay. You know, things, and that's what we implore people to do or encourage people to do, is just reach out to us on any given occasion. You know, because we're really just not okay with people not being okay. You know, that's the thing.
I absolutely love that. I think it's similar to myself. You're a platform of hope, aren't you? You're a beacon, a brand, 2 idols, 2 monsters. And I think your YouTube is absolutely fantastic. It's got the makings of everything. You know, it's really funny. It's funny. It's emotional. Yeah. You know, I was actually crying.
Oh, really?
Not ashamed to say it. I was getting for 2 things. I lost my brother, and seeing your bond, amazing. And then you called him your big wee bro. That's what my big brother called me. Oh, you know, because I've got really, really muscly, and he was tiny and skinny. I always call him tiny and skinny, and it had me really upset. Just 2 things actually: the way you were with each other, the support is something like I've never seen. The support from you two, and you're shouting, and then you're crying, and I just thought it was just both working off each other. Both have went through such battle with you being at work, working so hard, and then trying to make your career off minimal hours training. Tom going through the autism and coming up through that and everything else that comes with it. And I just think it's a phenomenal story, and a story that so many can take comfort, motivation, inspiration, and a bit of hope from. So I want to
hope so, man. Hope so.
Yeah, no, yeah. I was getting emotional there. Gonna get the tissues back out for me. But no, guys. Guys, welcome back. We just had a small pit stop. My friend Sam from Tipsy Bite, which will be opening after lockdown, after this madness, and you'll find it in Charing Cross. Keep your eye out for it. That food is spectacular. We left somewhere. Do you know how hard it was to get that food left there with these two? Try to get it. So let's get back into it. We're talking about the YouTube response to Tom having autism, because obviously we feel that with what Tom was saying during the break there, some people have reacted and said, "Oh, Tom doesn't have autism. How can he have autism?" And that's what I was talking about before. With people have this notion that it has this kind of autism must be this. Someone must act one way or look one way to have a certain illness or disease, when that is not the case. So, Tom, I don't know if you can, you want to open up on that?
Yeah, well, I mean, for me, it's a good thing and a bad thing, because obviously, when people are saying like, "Oh, I would never think Tom had autism," when they say comments like that, I'm quite proud, because it makes me feel like I've kind of had all the kind of problems when I was younger and stuff, and now I've fought it, and I'm just kind of accepted now. Like they're saying, "Oh, he's just a normal guy," but there's other ones that obviously, I mean, with autism and stuff and being at the highest in the sport is. People with autism always excel at one thing. They always excel at one thing. So, like, for example, if we had someone else that had autism in here, they might be really good at mathematics and maybe go to uni or something and get the highest math grades in their whole uni class. There's always that. So for me, it was the sport, and I was kind of no surprise, obviously, when I was playing the football and stuff, that I was going to be involved in the sport. But yeah, the comments for me are mixed. I mean, I look at them, and when people say like, "I don't have autism," like, "Oh, well, I'm shocked Tom has autism." Like I said, it's a good feeling. But when they say like, "Oh, Tom doesn't have autism," when they word it like that, it's like, well, we're only showing you, because the thing is, they only know my gym life, and they see me in the gym and at my happiest, and but they don't ever see the stuff out the camera and like the really, really personal stuff. So to them, kind of judge, it's like judging a book by its cover, really. They shouldn't, even for, like you said, I don't look like I've got it. I look like a normal guy. I always will have it, and I'll have it for the rest of my life. But it's kind of just a way I've let it I kind of grown out of it a wee bit, So yeah, I mean, the comments I don't really look at, but it is that one thing. When people say like, "Yeah, you don't have it," it's kind of a thing where you're kind of like, "Yeah, I do have it," because it does make me a bit kind of disappointed and stuff, because because sometimes I do still get shy and not talk, and I'm like, well, I'm not that because I'm not shy. It's just because of my autism, and I'm still I like to have things written down instead of someone telling me, right, this is what we're going to do today. If I'm saying I'm going to do something on a Monday, on the Sunday, I always go over my head. I always say to the wife as well, like I said, I was coming down here today, and literally all last night I was like, I'm going down to Glasgow, and that's just the way I am. So yeah, some of the comments do hurt, but 90% of the ones I'm glad that they say it, because I've kind of been able to lift myself away from that kind of childhood and stuff, and had that label. Now I'm just kind of known as a normal guy, which is a nice kind of feeling, and that I'm not just judged because I've got a label on me. So
that's the thing, you should be known as a normal guy anyway. We're supposed to live in a world these days, we don't see black, white, autism, cancer, all this stuff. It shouldn't define you. Down syndrome, stuff like that. We're all just humans. We all have hearts, we all have air in our lungs, food in our bellies. We have more food in our bellies than the normal people. But I think it's very, very important you saying that, because people used to say to me all the time, you can't be suicidal. You're not, and it really got to me. You're not suicidal. Get your head out your arse and get on with it, you know what I mean? Or you've had PTSD or thingy. It doesn't look, you're not going if you're going mental and run down the street hitting people with your PTSD. You know what it says? It's not. It's not always like that. It's not. I think it's very important, because people aren't identified by what they have, what they, if they have an illness, thing like that, they're identified by what they do. And you've brought a hell of a lot to the world, you're going to. That's what people should be,
definitely
identified by, so no, it's amazing we got that. Opening up with that and talking about that, thank you, because these trolls will always be there. And although it's getting worse and worse in it with these trolls, and sometimes it will be your a friend that you've fallen out with or something, that it can be people close to you. So moving on from that, I want to talk about I want to spice it up. So the spicy.
That's the one.
If people, big Stoltman fans, will get what I'm talking about there. I want to ask, what's your most embarrassing moments in Strongman?
Oh, jeez. I mean, the usual one, lifting heavy weights, kind of putting a lot of pressure on your body and lifting a lot of heavy weights, become a bit flatulent, and sometimes that turns into, I've a couple of times I've had to check that's. I remember I was competing in Holland one time and had to pick up, I think it was like a 450 kilo yoke, whatever it was, and again, I said before about being bloated. That's one of the most annoying things. Horrible. So I had to pick up this 450 kilo yoke, and every bloody step I was walking, it was just farting, and it transpired into, or continued into maybe a little bit more than farting. And there's all the, the dolly birds, the cheerleading girls around you, and you're like, oh Jesus. And it was just, you think, oh my God. And you're walking away and it just squelches, and you straight to the wee toilet to have a wee check and clean out. Yeah, so that was probably, I think that's quite common though, kind of.
I've got a funny story, that's it. That's why I bring it up, because one of the most mortifying times of my life, I work in Pure Gym, and all the workmates know it now, they know the story, and I was 21 stone at the time, lifting some of my heaviest, right? So I'd just done a bench, a big bench, about 239 kg I done, right in the bench, and we felt that good, we goes, right, we're going to go into deadlift day. So and that bloated feeling is horrible, innit? You feel constantly horrible all day. And we went to the deadlift rack pull. Rack pulls on the rack. Now, where that is, you feel like the whole gym's looking at you all the time. They're the big men on the rack, you know what I mean? So we're doing rack pulls, and I got up to 350 kg. I'm feeling bloated, and I'm doing rack pulls, and we're smashing it. Me and my pal Chris Beattie, he'll watch this, be howling right now. And it's one of them moments, we got up to 370. It's one of them moments where you don't know what's happening until it's too late. And it's one of them. And I've lifted this up, and halfway through, and I knew it was going to happen, but you just want to finish the lift. Do you know what I mean? And I've went up, and I've just done a hell of a fart, man. You know what I mean? It's been, it's as if, Chris heard it. So I've dropped the bar, and I've turned around to look at Chris, and he's looked at me. He's looked, in that 2 seconds, he's looked at me thinking, no. Have you? No. And I've had to sprint to the toilet, I swear to God. Followed through, sprinted to the toilet, and I went into the toilet, locked the door, sat in the toilet, done what I needed to do. I've looked left. Guess what?
No toilet roll.
There was no fucking toilet roll. I swear to God, it's had to be a sock job. I swear to God. I phoned Fraser, he wouldn't answer his phone. I swear to God, and Fraser's who works there, he wouldn't answer his phone. He's up taking a class, sock job, put my trainers back on, squidgy, one foot squidgy canoe, and I went back out and finished the session.
It's awful.
But it's so, since then, I've always thought, what do strongmen do? Do they take Imodium before competitions? Would some of them do that? I don't know if that would cause problems.
I think most of them don't care. There are a lot of dirty fuckers and strongmen. Tom, when we're training, Tom does about 5 dumps.
I actually did one, and we were doing a rain documentary filming for it, and this was the worst. I don't follow through usually, but this time I did. So obviously on Atlas stones, you have sticky stuff on your arms and your hands. So I was training for the world record. I did like 286 kg stone for 2, and then as I got up, everything went loose, and I just felt that's me done. But then I did put it over, and I just turned around to Luke, and I was like, guys, I followed through, man. And I had sticky stuff on, so I went to the toilet, but then everything tried to wipe, but I had all the toilet roll stuck to my arms. So I came out and I was like, I just showed him my hands. I was like, I can't do nothing. So I just pulled my trousers back out and went. But
it was just your face.
That's the first time. It's on our YouTube channel, I think, but it's...
That's what I mean, it's that look.
That was the worst,
yeah. Just think, oh, shit.
I can remember Chris looking at me like, no.
It was just that mid-left, I felt at the stone, everyone just, and it just, oh my God, here we go.
We were like the neoprene shorts that keeps everything tucked in. Like,
and they were black as well, so.
Lucky.
Yeah,
it's a mental health podcast here where we talk about mindset and mental health, and we're talking about shiting mid-lift.
Yeah.
That's where it's got to the day after that food.
God.
So, moving on.
Uh-huh.
How did you just get into strongman?
So for me, I always, my granddad, he was Polish. So he came over in World War II. He got stationed over in the north of Scotland, where we're from. And obviously met my granny, she was German. Had dad, but there was a Opa, we used to call him, German for granddad. There's a photo of Opa with this big log running down. He had this big smile on his face, and it was just this, just encapsulated all the feelings.
Seen in that photo? Where did I see that photo?
Might have been on one of the
documentaries.
YouTube or something.
He's with a woman and another man.
Yeah. So that was it. It was just, I thought, fuck, that's class. He's picking up a big tree trunk, and that kind of stayed with me. And I thought, right, kind of seen Dad. He was a big man, or he's a big man. I just wanted to have, I talk about the Highland warrior aspect, like back when the clans and William Wallace and all that stuff, and like I like that, and the history behind all that, the guys kind of protecting their clan and stuff like that, and big strong men, and just as a Highlander, I just thought, well, I want to be big, I want to be strong, and when I was 16, I went into the gym, and just since then, that was it. I just fell in love with lifting weights and the way it made me feel. Like you say, when I was younger, I had a bit of anger issues, and when you're growing up, you don't really know who you kind of are and stuff. You're trying to find out who you are, and it took me a while to kind of be who I am today. Kind of find that person who I should be, and the gym really helped with that. The gym helped me kind of manifest or kind of improve that anger issues I used to have, and become more confident. And then, so that was 16, started working offshore 18. I started competing when I was 26, 27. There was a local competition in Inverness, a deadlift competition, and ended up doing that, won that. Met one of our good friends now, Pete, and he convinced me to try Strongman. And I'm like, fuck off, mate. See the size of these boys, like, they're huge. So I did my first Scotland's Strongest Man when I was 27. I think the boys, I was first one in the gym, and there was all the boys that was competing against, they were all coming in. I'm like, I recognise him off the TV at Christmas time. Fucking hell. He just finished second in UKs and this and that. And I'm like, oh, Jesus. And it just cowered. I was just like, and then I thought, you know what? Like, I've got nothing to lose. So I up start speaking to everyone, kind of getting stuck in, and end up winning it, and then won it for the next 5 years until Big Tommy came along and took the titles. So that was Did
you win it first time?
I won it the very first time, yeah. So
wow.
Yeah, so 5 years off the trot, like off the back. So no one had heard. I mean, there's an old clip of me doing, it's 2013 Scotland's Strongest Man. I think one of the lads says, where's this guy from? He looks Norwegian or something, and because I was unknown, back then there wasn't any, there was like social media, but not as we know it now, so I was just some daft fucker in Invergordon and stuff, and then that was the birth of Big Tommy, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I basically got into it through, obviously, Luke. I kind of, when I started the gym, I was kind of quitting football that time, and just kind of, like any teenager did, play Xboxes, and kind of locked myself away for a wee bit. I think it was just with the autism and stuff, I didn't like, obviously, to be around people, but, and then it was Luke, I think one day just came and said, oh, come to the gym with me. And I was like a Scottish Peter Crouch. I mean, like, there was literally bones, and like you could see the bones.
Imagine that.
Yeah, that's what everyone says.
Brilliant.
But, yeah, so I was just, and anyway, I was going out with my comfort zone then, because I walked in and like, I was just like, what the heck's this, Girls bigger than me, guys. I was like, oh, wow, this is gonna be fun, And then, but yeah, so I mean, having Luke was good because, like, Luke didn't let me kind of ever kind of lack, and he was made sure like I could deadlift and squat properly before I did like the bench pressing and all that. Obviously, everyone that goes to the gym wants the t-shirt muscles, isn't it? The biceps and chest, but. Like, I had a squat, I had the pad on me, but I wasn't allowed the pad when Luke was there, the wee women's pad or whatever it's called.
Like brother duties, man.
So, like, every time I had that my neck was in agony. I woke up every day like, how do people do this? You know, like you can't function. I couldn't, like I was like a robot, couldn't move my arms or nothing. I hated every single minute of it. Like if Luke wasn't, I'd have quit 100%. But yeah, anyway, I started younger. Like I started, Luke, we kind of started the same age, but I started Strongman, I think it was 18, 19, something like that.
Yeah,
I went down to watch Luke in his first competition, and I did a fans comp. It was like holding a trap bar for as long as you could, and I won that, and I was like, I could do something here then. So I mean, it was me against some fans, but I was just like, right. So then I think it was the next year when I was 19, I entered the qualifier. Scotland's qualified there. Then I finished 5th in Scotland, and like I helped Luke win his title that year as well. So it was a bittersweet moment. I won the stones. So from there I was like, this is a cool sport. This is good for me. And then I went to the UKs and kind of just gradually worked my way up. And it's been Luke that's been there since the first day. So it's been cool because like we've been on that journey since I've stepped into the gym to now. It's been a massive transformation as well. And even seeing my body change. I mean, like you said, I could never think from going from a skinny guy to this. It's mind-boggling. I look back at the pictures and I'm like, that's a different guy. My mum used to do photo shoots of me posing, thinking I was big. But like, to look back now and be like, geez, man, what was I up to there? Like, so,
just look back and that's my son.
Well, the rest is kind of history now, you know. So, but it was a good wee journey it's been on. So
it's so interesting because two brothers, the age gap, what, 9-10 years?
Yeah, 10 years.
10 years. Me and my brother was 5 years, and it was more. It was really rivalry. You know what I mean? Healthy rivalry, but with you, is it more kind of support? Is it more support and push?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, 100%. I think
because there is a big age gap, 10 years. You know, I'm still got a few years left. I'm still progressing, but for me, I just want to see Tom live up to his potential and be the best ever. You know, that's the reality of where Tom is at the moment. That's what he could become, is the best ever strongman that's ever lived.
Yeah.
And I don't think Tom actually knows that in his head, quite how special he is as an athlete and as a person. So I just want Tom to live up to that potential, and I'll do anything I can to try and help him on the way. Don't get me wrong, I still want to beat him. Like, I still want to kind of, you know, be able to beat him and beat every other guy that I'm competing against. But if Tom and I could kind of come first and second, or I'm not fussed, you know, if Tom wins, I come second, I'll be just over the moon. But yeah, it's more of a support rather than rivalry, I think.
I think it's going to be even more exciting because you've went full time.
Yes.
Remember, you've been at that level, working mad hours, but it's really not sleeping as much. And you can maybe say that makes a difference. You're not getting that full sleep in to grow properly, to recover.
Mm-hmm.
You now are going to change your training patterns and your structure up.
Yep.
And we could see a whole new look.
Yeah,
you know,
that's the plan. You
in
know,
the
we
next
could,
few years.
or just break down and start crying and realise Tom's just, you know, massive.
Just superhuman. But no, I was watching one of Tom's videos, and I was thinking, this guy, I don't think this guy knows what he's actually what he's going to achieve in the next few years. You know, like it's scary. It reminds me of Usain Bolt. The records he can break in the next few years. It's
unbelievable.
You know, I can actually I visualised him. Tom, I visualised you picking some of the Atlas stones up without touching your knees. Just going right up there, boom, 10-second Atlas stone run. Because what, you done it in 16 seconds?
16, yeah.
That's the fastest. That's
Giants Live.
Giants Live.
Tricep curling up, man, right, boof, you know what I mean?
It will happen.
Other people are trying to get them and twist them and, you know, push them up, and it almost comes like a Usain Bolt where people are running a race just going, fuck.
That's quite a good feel when you hear that, oh fuck, when I go up against them on Atlas Stones. It's like, yeah, buddy.
yeah, Love it, man. That's why I love getting you on, because I'm bodybuilding and weightlifting daft. Not so much strongman, because I've just started coming into that, and I'm going, as I said to you in the break, I'm going to start training for strongman, not to compete, because my knees will snap, with 5 surgeries I've had. But I would love to just start maybe trying to get good at something again. Football's out the window. Bodybuilding is not. Bodybuilding's for me, but not the competing and the posing and that. I'm not into that, but to lift some weights and maybe turn up at Highland Games with a kilt on. I'm a bagpiper, so I'm used to that. It'd be nice to turn up and throw some logs about, man. That'd be top notch. So for the future, is it the world's your oyster? Is it? Have you got 3 goals? Have you got certain goals? A list of goals that you want to tick off before a certain time. What's in the future for the Stoltman brothers?
Yeah, for me, I want to get the log world record. It was just a ball here away from getting it last year. Just like it was the strongman career. Just keep progressing and keep improving and becoming stronger and stronger. But again, like we said before, I want to be more than just that strong man. I want to be able to help. We've gone through mental health issues and stuff, kind of struggled, been through the dark times, like we've said. So if we can set up something to help people and that's why we're doing this cold water stuff. We're doing, a documentary on mental health awareness and trying to get people, especially guys in Scotland, it's such a high suicide rate with men especially. I'm trying to get people to talk about that, trying to get people to realise, to chat. It's almost as black and white as like you might want to commit suicide, but if you talk to someone, that could change your outlook, that could change your view on what you want to do. So that's what gets me excited. It's kind of being able to help people. So that's a big goal for me. And then just we've got our younger brother Harry, so we want to put a lot of time into him, try and get him competing. He's now going to be working.
3
You're
Stoltmans
joking
on the
me,
podium.
man.
Yeah, so he's
3 Stoltmans in the podium. Imagine. How old is he?
25.
How big is he?
He's about 6'5".
What?
He's a big lump. So he's actually we've just taken him on. He's going to be working through the business. It's going to be
probably a giant, man. That is 6'5".
So it's pretty nuts to think that he could. He's got the potential. He's a big lump, He's got big, broad shoulders, big legs. He's solid. So that's the plan, So just me keep progressing, strongman wise. Mental health aspect, we need to get more awareness of that, and then just keep pushing the business and Harry, the younger brother Harry, just to smash it.
Well, for me, obviously the biggest goal in strongman's winning world's strongest man.
Yep.
I was close this year, but like I said, I've got a lot of time. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. You need to be smart in the sport. And then hit a 300 kilogram Atlas stone. For me, that'll be probably bigger than Eddie Hall's deadlift in my eyes. Obviously, everyone that kind of tries an Atlas stones are like, wow, this is hard to do. Yeah. So I'd love to just break that record and put that into the record books where nobody else is going to break it, and maybe do like a big Z and break it a kilogram every year. And then obviously the business, our merchandise, YouTube, everything's going better than I thought. This has only been basically a year, and we're kind of taking over a bit, and like the likes of Eddie Hall and Huffer, Beyonce, we're wanting to kind of suppress them as well. And I think because we're so unique, me and Luke, we're the brothers, and there's no one else like this in the sport. We're going to do, I think, big things. I think 2021, this year especially, we're going to kind of, not more the strongman, but more the business and the kind of YouTube side is when we're going to blow up and get like really well known. And I mean, it's going to be fun, and it's good to be on a journey with Luke, and then obviously the wee brother coming along. It's going to be hard because if he takes over me, I'm going to feel like what Luke feels like about me. So
side by side.
But no, it's going to be good. I mean, the world's our oyster, and if we need to kind of have that business mind and also be able to still compete at the highest level, and if we do that right, then there's going to be a big Hollywood Stoltman coming sooner.
Did I not hear that you were having a 300 kilogram Atlas stone getting made?
Yeah, so I was getting it made, but something happened that didn't really work out very well. So we got another stone made, but it crumbled a wee bit, so I couldn't really go for the record. But it's right now there's a stone that's made in Scotland that's about 306 kilograms. But I'm gonna do it. I'll do it in about maybe this year. Depends if whatever kind of. I mean, for me, records are nice, but I like titles, and that's what I've kind of had to learn is, world's strongest man over a record is 100% the goal you need to go to. But if the right opportunity comes, I'll do it. The 286 at the stone was nice, but I don't like that number, so round it up to 300 would be good.
I can understand.
But the 286, I mean, like training for at the stones is the biggest buzz in the world. I mean, my body doesn't ever shut down, but after at the stone, it's the pain you feel and the buzz. It's unbelievable.
Right.
Like just when you're putting that weight on your lap and then hyperextending, it's like, wow, this is.
What's that feel like?
You can't. It feels like you're getting battered by
I would always
hundreds of
feel
people.
like it would snap your shin bones. Do you know what I mean? That amount of weight, the way you squat right down into almost an ultra
Well, you see some people on their tiptoes on it, and like going to snap their knees, but luckily I'm not like that small, so.
I'm not like that small. I love the confidence, man. So humble, but so confident in the right way.
It's my height that's, I think that's, I don't know how I got good at the stones, that's the thing, I'm not really kind of trained it any different than anyone else. I think it's more just the wingspan and kind of the height as well, and I tap the stones kind of with confidence. I think that's the main thing with people is, like, you could maybe go up to an Atlas stone and be like, oh, I can't lift this, I can't do this, but you can do 100k deadlift, squat, bench, but 100k stone's so much different. And that's where people think, oh, I can do 100k deadlift, I can do 100k stone. It's totally different. It blows any lift out the water. Like,
it might help that your knees are like people's torsos.
That's maybe another thing.
Have you guys ever attempted to lift the Denny or the Denny stones?
Not the Denny stones yet, no, but this
you
year.
did something like it for, didn't you?
Yeah, we've done similar ones, but we're hoping, touch wood, that we're going to put on a Highland game Strongman Stoltman show, so in Invergordon. So there used to be, I don't know if you know the Highland Games, obviously in Scotland it's massive, but it's deteriorated over the last few years. So a lot of the local towns, Highland Games, for whatever reason, funding and stuff, they can't do them. So what Tom and I would like to do is giving something back, have like the top 10 guys in the world of strength athletes, strongmen, come across to Invergordon, compete in the Stoltman Games, get the Denny stones up, all the kind of historic stones, if we get them up, and kind of even again do this documentary again for Netflix, if we could do that and showcase kind of the Highlands and the kind of Highland Games aspect, kind of try and get that back into the limelight in Scotland, because I think it's such a historic event, the Highland Games, a lot of us kind of, not a lot of us, but it is kind of drifting off that way, the young team, the younger generation maybe aren't as excited by that now for whatever reason. So it'd be nice to be able to kind of rejuvenate that and kind of get a bit more drive and want for that. So I think that's when the Denny Stones, we'd like to kind of get them there. But we'd like to do that. There's so many historic stones in Scotland as well, man. It's like doing a wee tour around them all. I think that'd be quite a nice video to create.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool. Get Billy Conley to do the narrating.
Yes,
Go with you. That'd be
nice.
That'd be unbelievable.
That'd be good track, like.
Billy Conley and the Stoltman Brothers.
That would be brilliant if we
That'd
could.
be phenomenal.
That would be an awesome partnership. That.
It's weird because obviously I've been to so many Highland Games, being a bagpiper and a drummer. I used to go to about 14, 15 competitions a year, all over the world. Not all over the world, sorry, all over Britain, like Ireland, Scotland, England.
Right.
And that was over a 10-year span.
Right.
The Highland Games events and the Strongman events, they were always there. But I always just looked at it like, they're lifting logs, mate. Like, that's God of worship. Like, I couldn't do that. Yeah. So why I'm saying that is, there might be the next world's strongest man out there that doesn't even know it. Do you know what I mean? And they might just be too scared to get into it, or might not know it's for them. And I think it's maybe important to get that awareness out there that someone might be watching this. Go give it a try.
100%. It's Strongman has changed our lives, and that's the beauty of it. We never thought that we'd amount to where we are now, have a business, gym, etc., and be able to come and talk to likes of yourselves and kind of share our stories. So if there is someone watching, if there is this young lad, young lady, a girl, whatever, wanting to go and give it a try, just do it, because it's so rewarding, being able to lift these, like you say, trees, atlas stones, natural stones, pulling a lorry, doing all these mad things that you'd watch when you're younger and think that's just not attainable, but it really is. And I think Tom and myself are kind of the prime example of what you can do when you put your mind to it. And like we talked about it earlier on, coming from Invergordon, Allness, just a small town, it's not much that comes out of that, you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter where you're from. It's just another excuse, I'm from the Highlands, there's nothing happening there, we can't do this, can't do that. But it's just we need to get past that kind of level and stop making excuses why it can't happen, because it really can. And goodness me, Tom finishing second in the world, brought up, he was travelling school, had learning teachers helping him out, he had autism. He literally couldn't leave the house certain times. I remember when Tom was 12 years old, we put him on a train for 5 minutes. It was from one stop to another, and that was massive. So
brilliant.
That I wish we had footage of Tom when he was younger, because Tom doesn't know how, not bad, but how much of a challenge it was for him to do these things. So if Tom
good for him to look back.
It's incredible, like so incredible for Tom to be sat here as, to me, the strongest man in the world, and the most gifted, I'd say, strength athlete in the world at the moment. And that's not just, again, like we say, it's not through luck. It's through the paths you choose in life, and it's all about choosing that path and not veering off it. You might have a little bump along the way, but you reset and you keep on that path and you keep that focus, and don't make those excuses that would maybe stop other people. So it's so attainable for anyone to do it. It's just, we're not doing anything abnormal. Millions of people lift weights in the world, millions and millions of people, but it just takes that a small percentage just to really push it and really have that self-belief. And if there is someone out there watching, man, it'd be so cool if we could get them in the gym, we'd tutor them, we'd take them on and just grow them into a beast like Big Tommy.
Beast.
Yes, buddy.
Hopefully that's me soon. I'm coming up for a holiday in my wee camper van.
Come up for a week and we'll make you fat and bigger.
No, I think that's amazing. I love the point where you're saying from small towns and small places, like when I'm from Dunoon, Argyll, the same, they have the mentality, I can't get out of this place. I'm never going to amount to anything. Oh, it's too far away to go and train there. It's not. You can do it. I travelled 340 mile round trip to play with Annan. You know what I mean? It can be done. You can go and reach your dreams. What we're talking about is mental health and strongman. Right? It's one of the most fierce, most committed, boisterous, heavyweight, beast mode sport in the world. Is there room for mental health in there? Is there room for poor mental health? Is there anything in place to help people? Do people look after each other and openly talk to each other?
I think it's become more apparent over the last kind of while, what we put our bodies through physically, it's taxing, but then mentally as well. 1 minute you can be up top of the world, the next minute you're down and up and down. And I think that's a credit to the show's producers. We've got Giants Live, Colin Bryce and Darren Sadler. Colin and I have a really good relationship, and when Tom first came on, we talked about, Tom's autism and stuff in front of the camera, and he was so supportive. It's such a, I don't know if it's a rarity, but it was just so nice to see the support he has. And we were on a phone call last night with him, just so enthusiastic about the future for both of us. So it's a massive, massive kind of thing to have that support in place. And same in World's Ultimate Strongman, Don and Mark. Mark's a fellow Scotsman. So since the day they've come on board, they've been so supportive of us, and it's just incredible. But the mental health aspect, I always find it's very tough. It's again, we touched on it since Mum passed. I'd kind of struggled. I've seen therapists and stuff like that, and learned to talk about it more. So, but with me, it's competing almost. I can switch off from that. It's more after the show is when that mental health aspect comes into. We touched earlier on about the worlds. When we go out there, we feel like we're something, we're big time and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But then for me, I had to go straight back offshore in the rigs.
Yeah.
And that was when I had my down days and I was like, oh, Jesus, it's tough. And I'm sure other guys have it. You're doing such a kind of mental sport like Strongman, but then you're competing on the Saturday evening and on a Monday morning you're back to your 9 to 5, so
desk,
that's kind of something that we haven't really addressed too much. But a lot of guys in the sport, Eddie Hall, he's talked a lot about mental health and his kind of problems when he was kind of growing up, losing his grandmother, and that
I'd
really
love to get Eddie on actually.
He's a great lad to talk to, and he's a big advocate of kind of that mental health awareness, and that's where we're trying to be. And I think it's a learning curve for everyone. The mental health awareness, it's still very, not a taboo subject, but with men especially, it's still that kind of, I'm fine, mate, I'm cool, dry your eyes, I'll be all right kind of thing. But it's not, it's asking for that help is some of the most impressive kind of feats of strength I think you could ever do, is reaching out to someone and say, look, mate, I'm really struggling. I'm kind of having these bad thoughts. I'm kind of, things aren't good at home, blah, blah, blah. We all go through that. We all have a form of mental health issues.
I feel it's the biggest threat to man now, mental health. Like to a man's downfall, it's the biggest threat.
Huge.
Talking about lifting the weights and that, are you ever worried about the impact on your bones, your body, the pressure? You ever worried about heart disease and heart attacks and all that later on in life? It is probably the most strenuous sport in the world, along with what a lot of bodybuilders put themselves through. Do you ever get worried, Tom?
To be honest, I should be worried now, but
you don't even think about it, do you?
I breathe like I smoke 100 a day anyway.
Tommy's not a worry in the world.
You just get them world strongest man trophies up there, aren't you? I'm getting you.
I think if I did worry about it, I would. I think I'd change the way my mind works in the sports. I just want to not focus on that kind of stuff. I get checks. Me and Luke get checks all the time. We always have our heart checked. If you don't have like a good ECG, good bloods before you go to Worlds, you can't compete. So they're not we're not stupid about it, So they're not going to go let you compete if you're close to having a heart attack. It's kind of that kind of stuff. So obviously the weights we do and the body weight we are and the food we put in our bodies, we're not like that all year round for. I've dropped 12k since I've come back from World's Strongest Man. I was massive. I could hardly breathe when I was there, but that was like a week of being that weight, a week and a half of being that weight, and then you come back down. So, for me, I'm not looking into the future, but I think if I just keep myself in check and, you're going to be fine. Look at Eddie Hall, he was up at his biggest and he was nearly dying after that 500k deadlift. Now look at him now. He's probably one of the fittest guys about, so it's kind of like, if you look after yourself, you're going to be fine in the sport. I think it's more if you're the kind of old strongmen, when it was kind of them, the big bellies, they didn't really care what they looked like and eat. And I think that was back in the day, there wasn't as much kind of, you couldn't get as much checkups and tests about it all now. But now it's kind of like, your health first for them, for anyone in the strongman. They always make sure you have to be healthy before you can even think about lifting a weight. And that's a good thing, because if they just let you compete and you're close to a heart attack, then, because someone at Worlds suffered some heart murmurs, I think it was this year, and then the doctor said that you have to pull out, and obviously it's a hard decision for any athlete to do, but at least they were at it and it kept him 24-hour care. So if he didn't, then could have been a bad
we don't want to see that in the stage.
Well, I'm not thinking about it. I get good checks and stuff. Maybe at the start when I was eating anything and everything, it could have been a different story, but now I feel good. So.
That's why I came down.
Because
that's what I said to you when I went upstairs. I couldn't breathe, and the missus is like, "Have you been out a run?" I said, "No, I fucked up the fucking stairs," because I just felt it was hard to breathe. Sex life brutal.
Jeez, that's more than brutal, man.
Sex life's worse than the weightlifting, man. So I was like,
that's it. When I was out, I felt uncomfortable and stuff, but I know that's going to make me strong. And I'm only doing it to get first or whatever at Worlds, and then boom, once I come home, I've got smaller, and then every comp comes bigger, smaller, bigger, smaller. So you're never, like, with strongman, they think, you're 190 kilograms all year round. You're never that. That's impossible to do,
It's very interesting that, like bodybuilding, you're cutting and bulking and cutting and bulking.
Yeah, that's basically exactly the same as strongman, but obviously
opposite way around.
Yeah, different.
Really cool. Before we finish, I just want to go into a wee bit deeper. With you, Luke, you say you went to see therapists and stuff with your mum dying. I've lost my brother, really close to me. I know that horrible feeling, and it's so hard, and it can be. What's the? If you're all right to talk about the kind of darkest place you've been and how you recovered.
You go through that stages of grief, I think, so the hardest time, because I spent a lot of time working away, so I didn't get as much maybe quality time with Mum when she got diagnosed. So she got diagnosed a year after having these pains in her chest. So the doctor said it was this Bornholm's disease or something, and basically had to pay for her to go to a CT scan, and all these tumours kind of showed up. So I was down in Newcastle working. I was on the way to the gym actually, and Mum phoned and she told me, that she had cancer and it's this and that. And that was probably the toughest time for me to pull over. I was just devastated, because it was, and she only got 6 months to live at the time, so that was kind of like, fuck, this is tough. But then it was like, I need to regroup because we need to kind of be strong together. We're stronger together, and we need to be strong for Mum. But it's easier saying that than easier doing that than saying it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was very tough for me because Mum, we built a house next door to Mum, so I used to see her every day. And still in the summertime, what gets me the most is in the summertime, she used to drive towards her end of treatment. She used to drive around the freshly cut farmer's field, and the dogs used to follow her in the van because she couldn't walk the dogs because she was too kind of messed up with cancer to kind of do that. So in the summertime, I'll just sit in the morning about 5 in the morning with a cup of tea and just imagine seeing Mum kind of going round the field. And it's those, but it's what made it better for me. I did have dark times, it was questioning things and kind of getting angry. I went down to the doctors and demanded to see the doctor that misdiagnosed her for a year because he basically killed our Mum. Yeah. Thankfully, looking back, he wasn't in at the time because something could have went a bit wrong. And I get everyone makes mistakes, but for me it was just
unforgivable.
Yeah, unforgivable. And the things that what I learned from that, going through that kind of dark process and dark kind of places that you get into, is that we were so blessed to have family, and I've got that support. My wife, I mean, I resented my wife Cushy because she still has a family, so that's something I had to talk about with a therapist. It's like Cushy still got her mum and dad, and like going over there for dinner was one of the hardest things for me to accept when mum was gone. So that resentment I had for I didn't know what was going on because we were fighting. I'm like, what? And she's like, you need to go and see someone to speak about it. And then speaking to a therapist, that's what really helped me. Like, sometimes like people, when you're talking about yourself constantly and your issues and stuff, it can come across for me, that's what I felt about myself, very self-absorbed because everyone's going through issues, and like Tom was going through grief, Harry, my other brother, sisters and dad. I didn't want to share that grief with them. I needed to kind of just lock it up. But then speaking to that therapist for a couple of years, whatever I did, that really helped me kind of express my feelings and kind of, this is why personally I'm so keen and big on mental health awareness, is that, just because we're big and, strong and everything, we all have bad days, we all have days that we cry. I mean, every morning on the way to work, when I was working last year in Nig, in the oil job, there was a place I used to pass, reminded me of Mum, every morning, crying, every morning. And but that was a release, that was, and I talk about that quite openly now because everyone, unfortunately, will experience loss in their life. You say with your brother, it's excruciating, that pain that you feel. So it's just being able to, I think, talking about stuff and being open because then you know that you're helping other people, or I like to think that I'm helping other people that are going through that same situation or similar situation to what we've gone through. And it's, it was a difficult time, but thankfully we've got the support, loved ones and kind of supportive people around us that really kind of helped me, you know, get out of those dark places. And it's one of those things. Unfortunately, it's just life, you know. We're born, the only guarantee in life is you're going to die. That's as morbid as it is.
We're born and we're going to die.
Yeah, that's kind of it. So it's what you do in between. And, you know, I think if we can try and help as much people as we can, take them back from the edge, so to speak, then we're doing our mama kind of, you know, she's looking down wherever she is, kind of hopefully proud of us and seeing that we're trying to help people and kind of, you know, better the family name for whatever reason or whatever that means, but just try and help people and give something back.
No, that's amazing, mate. It's amazing. I think it's important that to bring up that when you said about feeling like self-indulgent and that a lot of people do feel guilty because of that. They don't open up. I didn't open up for a long time until I had a breakdown because you feel guilty. Everyone else is suffering. Why is it all about you? But it's very important to self-indulge and open up and be, you know, and give in to yourself, you know, and accept. 100%. And it's a very hard process. And for people to know that it's okay. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel. It's okay to mourn. It's okay to be a bit angry sometimes, as long as it's not causing you, you know, major problems. Yes, it's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to struggle for a wee bit. You know, it's okay to fail. Fail, you can. As many people's greatest weapon. You know, fail and you learn from it. You come back. It's okay, and it's important to open up. It's important to confide in each other. It's important to be comfortable showing your emotions. It's important to be an ear to listen for people around you, to check up on people. We all move together through this mad life, and as you say, the only thing we're guaranteed is to live and to die. So you know, we come on this planet, we make the most of it, and we affect it the best way we possibly can. Definitely. Before you go, guys, I've got 2 questions from fans. I put on Instagram last night. Right. We've got the Stoltmans on tomorrow. What do you want to ask them? One of them was, what's your favourite event? I think I can answer this, but for Tom, it's the Blooming Atlas Stones. Of course.
It's the squat. Yeah, 100%. Eating, 100% Atlas Stones, 100%. Yeah.
For any pressing, so log presses. My favourite.
You get the record for log press?
I got the British record, and I was I got the world record in training, but not in the...
Oh, man. Oh, because you failed that list, but it was because you went for one before too soon?
Yeah, I kind of shot my load a bit too soon.
Don't do that. No.
Not for the first time. Man.
That's how the wife leaves you, man. What was I going to say? So, no, amazing how you're both, you could get the world record this year and you could get other records this year. It's just phenomenal what you two can achieve, and young Harry coming up. It's it's pretty scary, and it's good for us, it's good for Scotland, it's good for yous. Your mum and dad must be so proud of yous too. Honestly, so proud. We're all proud of you. The last question was it was a silly question I just put in for a laugh. The size of feet. But you're 17.
UK 17, baby. If you want some free holidays, have a swim in these and you'll get beat the border control and everything.
Especially during lockdown.
I'm a measly size 12.
Oh, wow. It's all right.
I don't know how I got the big feet, man. Jeez. Even Harry's like 13.
Is there a trip over them?
Yeah.
Tom's toes about that long, man. They're huge.
Oh, wow.
And curly as well.
Your toes are size 5. Listen, I want to thank you so much. Thank you for you guys listening. Please, open up, talk about it, share this video, like and subscribe. Subscribe's so important. Also, please check out the Stoltman's YouTube channel. I think it's just the Stoltmans.
Stoltman Brothers.
The Stoltman Brothers, the main men. The soon it will be the trio from De Janeiro or whatever it's called. But it's so important to support these guys. Hopefully, come on and support me. We're trying to put out such a good message to the world. And as I said, my mails are always open if you need help for anything. I'm sure the boys are the same. They're fantastic. Thank you. It's been an absolute
Thanks for having us on.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.